Hi everybody, welcome to another video at Abraham Stable Farm. Today is April 17th and we're coming up on Easter weekend, and it is a really big, busy week for us right now. Behind me, we have our first planting that is out in the ground, out in the garden, outside of protection. And this is an important first step for us because we're always waiting for the nights to hit a certain temperature degree before we're putting things outside, not under one of those high tunnels. And so now we're hitting that point, which is pretty exciting. The transplants look pretty healthy. They went in the ground pretty well. We've got a few things over here that are planted in the ground and just starting to sprout. It looks like everything's hitting the outdoors and getting started right as nighttime temperatures are coming up above freezing for the most part. We'll probably still have some freezes or some very light frosts, or heavy frosts or light freezes. That's why we have these row covers, these blankets over the transplants to keep them nice and warm and protected. But an important step in the garden for this week. Even more important than that though, this week we had our first worker arrive. Josh Crumrine is one of our crew members this year, and we're excited to have him, and he came at a really critical time just as the workload is ramping up for the season. So we're glad to have him on the team, and we're quickly trying to get him up to speed on different jobs and tasks around here so that he can be a really effective part of our workforce, which is great. All that means is that we can produce more food, keep harvest coming in, keep the plants all healthy, keep the soil all healthy, keep the animals healthy on pasture, and everybody rotated to fresh grass all the time. It's a lot of work, and honestly the work is only going up from here on out. So we're glad to have him. And about 2 weeks later, at the end of this month, Miriam will arrive, another team member. So the team will start to expand as the workload expands, and we're really looking forward to that because it does seem like the work is starting to get beyond what we can accomplish as the core team of Jed and Daniel and I. At the end of this month, also Jed is leaving. So it's a big transition for us to move to two other crew members, and Jed getting phased out and all of his responsibilities that he's been doing for the past several years redistributed to the team. That's one of the big challenges that we're facing this year, is transition from the old guard, from several team members who have been here for multiple years, and transitioning to new people who haven't been here for as long. But we feel up to the challenge. We've foreseen this coming from a while back, and we've been just working hard to make sure that operations around here are really smooth, that the soil is healthy, that we have systems for how we do things so that the infrastructure is in place to make the work a little bit easier. And that's been a long process of getting things dialed in. And it will be put to the test this year as we transition to a new team, and then even more so next year when Daniel, our garden manager, longtime garden manager, will be phasing out. So that's the big challenge this year, is the transition to a new team and make sure that all the operations across the farm are really smooth. But so far it looks good. We're on top of the work. It's still early spring. There's a lot to go yet, but it feels okay. The stress is mounting. The to-do lists are lengthening, but we're all right for now. So let's go around and see the farm, see what's going on right now. Okay, Johanna wanted to be in the video, so I've got a baby with me now. Here in the back of the chicken tunnel, we've also been setting up a pig pen. We're gonna get pigs for the first time this year, which is exciting to me. Been holding off on doing that for several seasons. Just a few, mostly for our family, but we set up this pig pen. You can see those fencing panels are all set up in a big rectangle with an electric fence line at the bottom there. And this is where the piglets will start, so that they're trained into the hot fence and learn all about an electric fence and to respect it and stay inside of it. And once they're a little bigger, we will move them out onto the pasture out that end there. So the first couple weeks of their life, they'll be in here. They're under the protection of the high tunnel. We'll give them a little bit of shade to make sure they're not too hot, but they will enjoy their first few weeks, half inside, half outside the tunnel, before they head out into the brush and the brambles. This is the other end of our chicken tunnel. You can see chickens up there. That's the egg-laying hens eating their evening rations. There's a bunch of storage in this end of the tunnel. But they are pretty content but ready to go out on pasture. We're hoping to get them out onto the pasture this week. We'll see if that actually happens. The weather has changed, we've decided, and it's time for them to get out there. The grass is starting to come in green, which is what they like. So hopefully in the next couple nights, we'll be moving them out there. Maybe I'll get some pictures of that to show you guys. But that will be great too, because you'll notice that their egg quality increases and the yolks turn a darker yellow, start laying down nitrogen-rich manure on the pasture, which is great for the grass growth later in the season. And they're just happier out there. So we're excited at this point in the season to get them out there and out of this chicken tunnel, which is a good place for them to live in the winter time, but pasture is much more comfortable, clean, airy, open, and so we're excited to get them out there. On top of getting the plantings out, we are also in the process of building a walk-in cooler here. We bought these insulated panels off of Facebook Marketplace, and we are building a floor. Well, our friend Peter Schmansky is, and we've got all these panels which we are now assembling into a walk-in freezer. And that was lined up right behind our wash stand, you can see there, so that all the produce that we harvest from the field will go right into that walk-in cooler, and we'll keep it fresh and good for the rest of the delivery cycle, which is good. We've been using a trailer, which you can see over there, with a AC unit on it, and that's worked for several seasons, but we're starting to outgrow it. Our harvests are bigger nowadays, and so we just need more space. We're in and out a lot on harvest days, and so the bigger space will be really useful. It's actually going to be a 2-chamber facility with a cold room and then a cool room, which will be nice for some of those cooler crops that don't need quite refrigeration but don't want to sit out in the heat all the time. So that's a big project that's going on right now, and we're really thankful for Peter's help putting it all together. I think without his help, we definitely would have fallen behind on a lot of the work around here. So that's going on. Inside the greenhouse, we've got lots of little green things growing. We also have potatoes sprouting. We always grow a little bit of potatoes. We rarely sell them. We mostly have them for ourselves, but we usually sell a little bit of them. So that's exciting because we do love potatoes around here. You can see our tomato plants way in the back there. They're getting pretty big. There's a couple big ones over here that you can see. So they're really sizing up quite a bit. And that's good. We potted them up nice and early. Yeah, they'll be in great shape. But lots of plants here. And then past that partition at the end there, there's more plants that are hardening off, which just means they spend a night or two in no extra heat, minimal protection, as kind of staging ground before they go outside and are totally exposed to the outdoor temperatures. So that just helps them kind of toughen up, because this environment in here is so warm and mild that they're kind of babies. So getting a lot of plants hardened off to go outside. In the next week, we'll be transplanting a lot of things. Right? We also just got both of our gravity bins full of feed this week. This one has our layer feed in it, which we've been using all winter, but then this back one now has broiler feed in it. And that's because this next Monday, our broilers' first batch of chicks will arrive. The brooder is all set up for them, and we actually thought they were coming this Monday, and we're surprised and disappointed when they didn't show up. Rechecking the schedule, it's next Monday. So next Monday, our first batch of chicks, and that's exciting, but we're all prepared. We've got their feed ready to go, and these wagons are really important because once all the birds move on to the pasture, we can roll these out to the pasture and keep the feed right near where we're feeding animals, which makes it far more efficient, less time consuming to get feed to the birds every single day. So we're all ready for chicks. We're all ready for piglets. We're ready to take the birds out onto pasture. In fact, the pasture coop is right over there. We've finished all our work on it. It's got new doors. It's got new shade cloth. It's got a battery for extending the light in the late fall. It's got new jacks to level it. It's all set up and tweaked to keep the owls out and all the predators out at night, and to keep the birds in. and we're ready to roll. So in the next few days, everybody's gonna be moving out onto pasture, and new animals arriving on the farm, and a lot of plants going out into the garden in the next couple days. So big changes happening here, along with Josh, our worker, arriving this week. So it's getting busy. Stress is mounting. Feels a little bit overwhelming, but I'm sure it'll calm down and we'll get used to the new pace, the new busy pace in the coming weeks. So yeah, we're excited and a little overwhelmed with all the spring activity that's going on right near on the farm. Aren't we, Johanna? And last but not least, here I am in the greenhouses, and I really just wanted to let you guys know that we've got a ton of spinach here in the garden. 2 beds here, another bed there, another bed there. We have 3 or 4 beds worth of spinach. This is spinach that overwintered. It was our last planting in the fall, last probably September or October, and it's barely survived in the winter. The leaves died off on top, but then they start regrowing early in the spring. And so this spinach is fresh, it tastes great, and we've got a lot of it. So please place your orders for these fresh greens. They taste really good after a long winter, and we're excited to have them. We've also got plants in the sides of these greenhouses hardening off again, like I said, to be transplanted out in the next few days. We've got a lot of beds to plant out into the garden now that the weather is starting to change, but lots of spinach. So place your orders, please. We're still taking signups for the CSA. Tell your friends, spread the word. I think this year we're gonna have some pretty big harvests. The soil health has just been improving. Our systems are improving. We're better managers, and I think we're just gonna have a lot of produce this year of really high quality. So we're excited for that. Tell your friends and get the word out as we prepare to move along with the planting season. First harvest is still a month or more away. I mean, we have spinach now and we'll have a few greens before then, but the big bulk of the harvesting and the CSA will probably start in about a month, a little over a month. But yeah, we're excited for that to come, even though it all means more work for us. So we got to stay on top of it for the next couple weeks, and you can share in the harvest by placing orders. So thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along for the tour, and we'll see you next week to see those pigs and those chicks, and the walk-in cooler might be done by then, and a lot of things will be changed. So stay tuned. See you next week. Place your orders, and thanks for watching. Say goodbye, Johanna. Can you say goodbye? Can you wave?